Okay, everyone, just some instructions on how to submit your report. Again, I'm going to give you a list of components. If you go to the lab scope assignments, and then depending on what section you're in, make sure you enter the correct section. So if you're in section 1, you want to enter here. If you're in section 2, you want to enter here. I'm just going to show you as an example what you're going to see once you open up your section. You are going to see a components list, and as an example, section 1, lab scope assignment number 1. So in the components list, you're going to see just a list of components, inputs and outputs. And what you want to do is tell me which terminal number and connector number you are going to hook the positive terminal of your lab scope up to measure the input's signal or the output's waveform / signature. The black terminal is just going to go to ground, so obviously you don't need to identify that. But what I want to know is the terminal number and connector number you're going to hook the positive terminal of your lab scope up to. So if you open up your components list, it basically will look like this. I will give you the vehicle and the model, information that you need to know for that particular list. So you'll go on Pro Demand and enter in these this exact vehicle. And then I'm going to give you a list of sensors and outputs. For example, a NOx sensor. So you will tell me the terminal number and connector number you hook up to measure the voltage of the NOx sensor, following the steps that we went over in our week 2 PowerPoint. And just to clarify again, I've got a example again of the wiring diagram. But just to clarify these, so once you find your component, you're going to follow the wires back to the PCM. So this is my, in this instance, engine control module. These numbers here, these are terminal numbers. So I have, on this particular diagram, terminal number 1 through to terminal number 40. The connector number is X1. So this particular vehicle, the connector number is X1, and these are my terminal numbers. So when you go to identify the terminal number, you want to use one of these numbers and verify which connector that's on. So this is X1. Just as you scroll through, I'm just going to go to a different diagram. And as you see here, engine control module. So this is another part of the wiring diagram. This is from terminal number 41 to 73. Again, X1 is my connector number. So this is the same connector, X1, as in the previous wiring diagram, but this is terminals 41 through 73. So this particular connector, X1, so far has 73 different terminals. And if you continue to look through this wiring diagram, you'll see here, engine control module again, terminal 40 and 1. This is a different connector node. This is X2. You see the X2 here. This tells me this is a different connector with terminals 1 through 40. And again, I have terminals 41 through 80. Again, this is connector X2 again. So remember these terminals are, or these numbers are the terminals, and that number is the connector number. Don't get them reversed because then you're hooking your lab scope up incorrectly. So terminal numbers and connector numbers are important. And all I want you to do is when you submit that, so tell me the terminal number and the connector number of the wire you want to hook that positive terminal of your lab scope up to. When you submit your report, I want you to make a new report. So don't just copy this and then, or just add terminal numbers here, 45, connector number X1. I actually want you to make a new document. So create a brand new Word document. So if you go to File and open up a new document, you will basically get this. So you'll have a blank worksheet, and just make a new document yourself. So lab scope assignment number 1, and just quite simply, you can just put number 1. So this is number 1. Tell me terminal number 45, connector number X1. That's the wire you want to hook your positive terminal up to. And then proceed to look up the second one. Engine coolant temperature sensor, find that sensor. Follow the wires back. Tell me for number 2, terminal number so-and-so, connector number so-and-so. And do that for every component. So in the end, you'll have 6 different components with terminal numbers and connector numbers. Save that as lab scope assignment number 1, and then enter this as your in the lab scope assignment itself. So now if you go back to the lab scope assignment, this is where you will now submit that new Word document. So if you'll click on here, you can now submit your file here. So browse files on your computer, browse that file, find where it was. This file is actually open, so it won't let me do it. But anyways, you will download that file here and submit your report. And due date will be on the calendar. So the due date for this is on the calendar. Yeah, so fairly simple. Make sure you follow these instructions, and good luck.